Good afternoon. I'm on site here at Embedded World 2022, and joining me today is Daniel from Infineon, who is a specialist in customer experience for makers. And today we're going to be talking about the program Infineon for Makers. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Infineon for Makers is designed to turn innovative ideas into real design blueprints. Now, this is going to be a very big question, but how does the program provide solutions to do that?
Well, basically we take our products, so Infineon provides the ICs usually. In this case, we lift them to a system level and build prototyping bricks. So you can see these are like real boards and not ICs anymore. And we build them to work with the biggest ecosystems for prototyping, Arduino and Raspberry Pi.
Fantastic, thank you. And could you explain what resources and tools are available to users of this program to help accelerate the design process?
Sure, so I think the first resource is already the board itself.
Yep.
And a certain form factor they are following. So we have boards with the Arduino Uno form factor, boards for the 40-pin Raspberry Pi form factor, and some Infineon form factor. It's called To Go for smaller boards. So that's the first thing. Then every Infineon for Maker product is not just hardware, it also comes with the software part.
Yeah.
So it's an Arduino library, a Raspberry Pi library, or in our case for the To Go shields, also both, as you can combine them all over together. Then on the microcontroller side, we do have XMC for Arduino. So some of our XMC industrial grade microcontrollers are fully enabled in the Arduino IDE, so you can program them there. And of course there's community with makers. So we are active at Hexer.io with the channel where you can find all kind of information for makers.
Brilliant, fantastic, lots of options there. And as you say, the program enables Infineon products to be used with two of the biggest fast prototyping ecosystems, Arduino and Raspberry Pi. So why did you decide to combine your products with these ecosystems?
So I think they are really successful because they are having a huge community.
Yeah.
And you can find almost every solution out there already. And people in those communities are also super helpful if there's any issue. So yeah, it's widely known. It's really easy to prototype with it, and it's also somehow acting as a glue between us and other companies. So it's not just the Infineon world. There are some products we don't produce, and you probably need them for your system. So Arduino is like the overarching ecosystem that brings us all together.
Excellent. And every Infineon for Maker product can be seen as a system module, which, as you say, comes with a hardware and software component. So can you talk about the different features of these hardware and software components?
Sure. So hardware components, as said, follow these form factors, so you can easily stack them and combine them. On software side, those libraries offer high-level APIs. So it's like a few lines of code to read sensor values, and all the interface needed to communicate with the sensor is all happening in the library we provide. So it's a lot of software effort and hardware effort we take from our customers.
Fantastic. And as you say, the hardware build follows three form factors: the Arduino Uno, 40-pin Raspberry Pi, and the Infineon To Go. And again, as you've said, the engineers and makers can freely select and combine these boards in multiple ways. So what are the benefits of being able to do that?
Well, it's just open, it's a complete open ecosystem for fast prototyping. And I think every system has its up and downsides. To somehow sort it out, I think Raspberry Pi is somehow growing in our portfolio. We have an audio amplifying board, and this motor control board for small DC motors is the second one. So also pretty cool if you want to build a small robot with the Raspberry Pi. Yeah, the Arduino world, Arduino Shields is more like our power section. When you speak about smart switches, about motor control, then you simply use the bigger board for your power devices. And this To Go boards are really well suited for small ICs like a sensor IC. And yeah, you just won't need that many space as an Arduino board for a simple small sensor. So that's why every form factor and board has its own benefits. But we also have adapters, so you don't have to wire things up if you want to combine boards from different sections together.
Yeah, some good options there, fantastic. And how can the program save developers valuable time when it comes to sort of fast evaluation?
So I think the first thing, or like the thing, if you ever designed a PCB, you know, it like takes some days really to design it, review it, then it goes to manufacturing, and like all this is done for you already. You can directly buy the board, get it in a few days, and same applies to the software. As said, it's like a high-level API, and no need to really dig deep into data sheets of the product. Just read the doc, and yeah, you're ready to go.
Fantastic, sounds simple. So can you tell us a bit more about the resources you have on GitHub and Hackster.io? Because I understand you publish sort of a how-to every month.
Yes, so GitHub is our single source for all kind of software libraries. The XMC for Arduino integration can be all found on GitHub, so everything you need to code, to work with it, at the end can be found on GitHub. And on Hackster, we have the Infineon team channel, where we publish every first Monday a month. It's a so-called Maker Monday within Infineon. We post a project that combines several Infineon for Maker products and also like third-party products to build cool systems, so people get a touch of what can be done, get inspired. And we also publish monthly a so-called pro tip, where we just have a spot on one single product explaining it, how you can use it, what you can do with it, to help people get started with it.
Excellent, I love that. And I understand that a CO2 sensor will soon be part of the program from July onwards, I believe. So can you tell us more about this sensor and the benefits it will bring to makers?
Yes. So I think there are several sensors measuring CO2 out there, also in the maker world. But our sensors like really measuring the real CO2 value, while others often calculate the CO2 value out of other measured values. So that's, I think, a pretty cool feature, and in these times, a really valuable product for all of us.
Yeah, definitely very timely. So do you have any particular standout projects that you can talk about that was developed by your makers?
I think one that like brings all the worlds together, Raspberry Pi and Arduino, is a project where we built an autonomous driving car based on an open source project on Raspberry Pi called Digikey. And we combined this one. It's like this one is acting like a driver, the Raspberry Pi, and then we combined this with an XMC for Arduino, which is in charge of the motor control and steering control. And yeah, I think this is really a good example how you can like, really combine also these two Raspberry Pi and embedded software or embedded microcontroller worlds together.
It's such a cool application as well.
It is.
Now finally, Infineon solutions are created with the needs of the developer community in mind. So what trends are you seeing in the maker community at the moment?
I think there are like two major trends. One is IoT devices. Everything's like getting connected. People are streaming data to the cloud, and you can do really cool stuff with it. The other one is AI on the edge. We also published a project with Edge Impulse on our Hackster channel using our MEMS microphone for voice recognition, keyword detection. So those are, I think, the two big things that are happening right now.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to see what the maker community develops in the future.
Me too.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today and for bringing the products along to demonstrate. Yeah, you've given us some great insights, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.